Hi everyone, and today I'm going to share with you my witch's shortbread fingers recipe. So these are so spooky and they're perfect for Halloween. They're really quick and they're really easy to make and they're so yummy. Right, let's get started then. Okay, to start, add 115 grams of softened butter. Okay, so then you're going to add 65 grams of caster sugar and then you're going to blend it together with a spoon so it's nice and creamy. I definitely recommend doing it with a spoon and not a whisk because it just gets stuck in the whisk and it's really annoying. Then add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, but caramel extract will also work as well. Then you can mix it all together. Okay, so now measure 165 grams of plain flour and measure it through a sieve. Then measure 40 grams of corn flour and serve that through a sieve as well. Okay, so now we're going to do something a little bit different and add 1 sachet of egg white powder with 2 teaspoons of boiling water. And then you're going to mix it until you get like a puree and gradually add 4 teaspoons of boiling water and you're going to mix it in between. So it will eventually get quite thick and this is like a substitute for egg whites. So eventually you'll end up with like a frothy mixture and then you're going to leave it to the side and we're going to use it later in the video. Okay, so going back to our other mixture, it's time to mix it all together to create the dough. So this bit's really fun because it gets all clumpy and it's all sticky, and later we're going to mould it into a big ball, so kids will love to do that. I know that I definitely did when I'm like 14. Okay, and when it gets to this stage, you can start to clump it together with your hands, and it's really fun to do. So you get all the mixture off the side of the bowl, and it's just one big dough, and it should be nice and smooth. You should end up with a big ball like this. Then lightly flour your worktop surface. Okay, so now it's time to gently knead until it's smooth. Now this takes a while, but it is really important because otherwise you get lots of cracks and lots of dents and it's really annoying. So it's just a lot easier to just roll it and smooth it, and then you should be able to cut it in half and it's just solid. This is what it should look like, so it's just solid and it's just a big piece of dough. Okay, so now put one portion to a side and deal with the other portion. So you're going to cut it into 9 segments and these are your fingers. So it doesn't really matter if they're all uniformed or if one's bigger than the other, because I mean you have different shaped fingers, you have some chunky ones and some thin ones, so it just creates more of a diverse range really. And you're going to roll it into a little ball. And then after you've done that, you're going to roll it into a bit of a sausage shape. Okay, so now it's time to pinch it in 2 places, and then this creates the knuckles, so you can pair it to your fingers if you need any help. Okay, so now it's time to score it. So if you get a knife or something quite sharp, then you can start to make the wrinkles and the dents on your fingers. So if you just have a look at your finger, you'll know what I mean. So I did 2 at the top and then 4 at the bottom, and I thought that this looked pretty realistic and creepy, but you can have a play with it and you can just do what you fancy really. Okay, so you're just going to repeat that process for the rest of your 8 fingers, and once you've done one you'll get into the routine of it, so it does become a lot quicker and it is really fun to do. So I think it's good to do with kids if you have a blunt knife so they don't hurt themselves. But you can make the fingers thick and chunky, you can make them thinner, but one thing that I will say is if you do decide to make them thinner, then just be careful because they don't expand as much when they bake. So I think personally it's good to do quite chunky-ish fingers because then you have a bigger bake really. I think this recipe is really great because it's not super sweet and it's not overpowered by sugar. So you know, they're really tasty, they're really crunchy, and they're just a great bake really. And this recipe makes 18 biscuits. Okay, so now grease a large baking tray with some butter and then add baking paper. Add all 18 fingers to the baking tray. Right, then brush your fingers with your egg white mixture that we made earlier on in the video, and then get 18 blanched almonds and put 1 on each finger, and this is like the fingernail. So they're starting to look quite creepy now and nice and spooky. Then chill in the fridge for 30 minutes. Then take them out of the fridge and brush them with the rest of the egg white mixture, but just be careful not to brush the almond. You want to keep that dry and you want to make sure you only cover the dough. Okay, and then finally you're going to put a little bit of red food colouring in a bowl, and then with a brush you're going to paint the almonds so they look like fingernails, and as you can see they're starting to look quite realistic, but you can use any food colouring that you fancy, it doesn't really matter. I also think it's worth spacing them quite far apart on the tray because they do expand quite a bit and you don't want any of them morphing into each other. But yeah, I think just have a nice large baking tray and you should be covered. If there are any other Halloween bakes that you're interested in or you'd like me to do, then just drop a little note in the comment section below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Okay, once you've finished painting them, then you're going to bake them for 20 minutes until they're lightly golden. You don't want them too brown, you just want them nice and light and still quite pale. And that's it, all finished. I hope you liked this video. Please like and subscribe to the channel and let me know if you end up cooking these delicious shortbread biscuits by dropping a note in the comment section below. I'd love to know what you all think. Happy Halloween, guys!